Hello everybody, this is Anna, also known as Ananita on Ravelry. If you want to follow me and be updated when I upload videos or something else, you can see all the information on the screen right now. And if you think this episode is worth to support because it has inspired you or you enjoyed it, or just because you think, hey, that was nice, you can support my podcast on patreon.com/Ananita with a monthly pledge, $1, $5 or $10. And all the money I collect via Patreon will be reinvested in the podcast for programs, tripods, etc. because I want to produce a better podcast in quality and other kind of videos like tutorials and so on. And for that I need another equipment than I have right now. The last podcast was last week on Sunday. Today is Monday. I missed the Sunday just because it was a very late Saturday, so it wasn't possible to podcast yesterday. I have a finished object for you. Well, yes, a finished object. Knitting wise, a finished object. A new cast on, a new plant cast on, technically 2 new cast ons, and yeah, lots of other stuff I want to show you. Purchases, big projects, so much awesome content. So I think I should start right now. Magic is happening. You see, nearly a finished object. This is the Feathers in the Wind cardigan by Joji Locatelli. I have knit this cardigan out of Malabrigo Sandbank, Malabrigo Arroyo, so the base is called Arroyo. I think it's I'm not so sure with your yarn weight system, but I think it's a sport weight yarn. It's the next after fingering weight. And the colorway is called Sandbank, and it's exactly the same yarn, also the colorway, as she used in the pattern. It's not completely finished because I haven't woven in the ends, because I don't know if it needs another blocking, and I haven't sewn the buttons on the button band because it's a buttoned cardigan. There you can see a buttonhole. Because I don't have nice buttons for that cardigan, and I want some special ones. I want golden ones, and so not real gold, just color, and I have to purchase them online. But here you can see the pattern. You can, after it has received buttons, you can close the collar and wear it like this, or just open like so. And I had to rip back the one sleeve I showed you. Now the sleeves are the way I like the most. I'm totally content with the sleeve and with the size up to here, but around the belly area I'm not sure. I can't really I can't really check if it fits well because I don't have buttons. I tried it with safety pins, but it's not the same with the safety pins. Maybe I have to stretch it a little bit more. So the next cast on cardigan or pullover cast on, I think by Joji Locatelli, I have to knit one size up. I'm not quite sure, maybe you will read it on the screen. I'm not quite sure if I have knit the smallest or the second smallest size. And I did measurements and so on. Maybe I didn't do it correctly, but I will definitely be able to wear it buttoned like this and have it open a bit. And after I have finished it completely with woven in the ends and attached the buttons, I will show it in a much more proper way and more in detail, and I will make an own video for the cardigan so that you can see it. But I think it's very pretty. I like it. I like it very much. The yarn is very soft, but it's way too hot, so I will take it off now. Back again. So I really enjoy the yarn. It's very soft. Working with the yarn was very nice. Here you can see the decreases. And the pattern wasn't difficult. Even the lace pattern was okay. Maybe not in front of the TV for a lace knitter beginner, and I'm a lace knitter beginner. But yeah, it's very pretty. And I really prefer, I think I will always do this now, I prefer garter stitch for the hem and the cuff, because it looks much tidier than ribbing. I always find that self-knit garments with ribbing as cuffs or hems, or however this is called here, don't look tidy. It looks like handmade, but in a negative way, in my opinion. I know there are some fancy ways. I think it's called tubular cast on or a folded ribbing or so, but I'm not so good at these techniques, and I really don't like to learn new techniques, unfortunately. So I think garter stitch is really pretty and so squishy. So I can totally recommend to knit this pattern. Yeah, very, very pretty, soft. I love it. But I have to wait for the buttons. That was my, finished object. The next is a work in progress, or the next ones are work in progress. I haven't attached it to the main project, but I have connected my squares, my 8th row, but I have to attach it still to the main blanket. Oh, I love all these colors. This is the wrong way round, but I have sewn in, here's the right side, but I have sewn in the ends before I realized that it's the wrong way, and no, I didn't want to fiddle around because it's so dark you can't really tell. And I have 2 times Patons Croix in the same colorway, but here's more rose, here's more gray, so it's okay. Wow, that was awesome. More gray, so it's okay. I'm sorry, I'm very tired today. Maybe I could also have filmed this episode yesterday, because it's pretty much the same regarding my status of being tired and exhausted. So okay, that is that. Then I have worked on my cotton blanket, on my blue rainbow blanket, Regenbogendecke in German, but in the blue, brown and white colors. And when I last showed you, oh yes, when I last showed you, I started this dark blue row, and I have done all that. So that is the finished 5th clue. For those of you who haven't seen the whole blanket, oh, and I have started already. This is half of the width, okay? Here's the second layer, but it's too big for the screen. Again, I really enjoy this project. It is made out of 100% cotton, out of this yarn. Wait, I can show you. I will need for the whole blanket 64 balls of yarn, and when I last showed you I said, oh, in here are 64 balls. No, in here are 32 balls. Okay, not 32 anymore, because I've used some of the first of one color already. Okay, I thought that was my phone. But in total I have 64 at home, and I will need 64 for the whole length. Yeah, I'm a bit blanket crazy at the moment. I don't know why. It has something to do with crocheting, because it always feels like, oh, I can do it in no time, but it takes a lot of time. Because I'm crocheting this with a 3.5mm needle. One ball has 50 gram and has 150 or no, 125 meters, so it's not very thick yarn. But it's so pretty, so pretty. The pattern you can find on the Ravelry page, on my project page, and it's called Regenbogendecke. I'm sorry, so you have to search for the letter R, because it's a German word, I'm sorry, but there is the English translation for the German pattern. So, but you can also find it by looking at the pictures, because I don't have so many projects on that page. That was that. Oh yes, and the next thing is, yes, it's a new cast on. Maybe you can remember that I talked about acrylic yarns, and that I have converted to a non-yarn snob. That means I also from now on, I will also buy acrylic yarns for home accessories and all that stuff, just because of the weight and the price of the yarn. And you don't have to pay too much attention caring for your hand-knit project with acrylic yarn. For example, a blanket, an Afghan made of acrylic yarn, you can throw it in the washing machine and without worrying, and yeah, and it's not so expensive. If you use very fancy yarn, 100% very soft merino yarn, for example, it will get very expensive to make a blanket in an adult size, not baby blankets. Yeah, and I showed you the Christmas colors I have assembled, and I wasn't sure if this red, and it maybe screams at you now because it's kind of neon, will fit to the other ones. And I have made a swatch, and I will show you how it looks with this neon red, and I hate it. I have crocheted, I think, during the match Germany against Mexico. Yes, I said Sweden when I last podcasted, and then I said no, that was yesterday. No, we played against Sweden last Saturday, and I crocheted this during the Mexico match, and thank God we won against Sweden. I'm sorry for my Swedish viewers, but it was so thrilling and exciting, and we needed that win, because it still could be that Germany won't. Now I don't know the sports vocabulary now. So even if we win against South Korea on Wednesday, it could be that we can't play on, and it could be that they have to read the screen, because it's a very tricky thing with the points at the moment. I haven't looked up how the other ones played, but wow, that's exciting. And it was, yeah, we lost the first game against Mexico, so that was bad. So we had to win against Sweden. It was so thrilling. Oh my gosh, it was. My boyfriend haven't experienced me watching football yet, because I'm only interested in when the countries play against each other, and only important games. Yeah, and I'm so, I hope it's the right word now, patriotic, is that right? I don't know. You know, I love my country, and so we have to win. Simply we have to win, and I'm very emotional during watching soccer, so yeah. It was funny for him to see me acting like that after this long relationship now. It was funny for him to see another side of my personality. So okay, and I really didn't like how these colors play together. No, not all the colors. I only didn't like this neon red. And so I switched from this to that. It's all the same brand. It's all Schachenmeier in German. And with this color, it looks like this. And I can show you the big sample because I have started another blanket. Yeah, I couldn't wait. And it's so pretty. Okay, the yarn is from Schachenmeier. It's Bravo Originals. It's, oh, what is it? Oh yes, a DK weight. It's a DK weight 100% acrylic. And this is how it looks. Wait, it's not so easy. It's a pattern by Attic24. And it's the Cozy Stripe blanket. I will show it like this because otherwise it will be blown out. I love it. It's so Christmassy. You only do granny stripes and yeah, double crochets. Sorry, it's I still haven't all the crochet terms on my mind or learned by heart. So it's so easy. You always do the same stitch. It's only double crochet, but sometimes granny. So 2 rows of granny and 2 rows only double crochets. Yeah. And it's a free pattern by Attic24. I have made a chart or so for the colors when I was arranging the colors because I needed, first I thought, okay, I won't use it, but I won't use a substitute for it. I will deal with 4 colors. But then I realized that the pattern will repeat too even. Okay, let me see if I can explain what I mean. You start with the foundation row, okay? So that doesn't really count. Then you do granny, so dark red, granny, and the next time the dark red will be used won't be in granny stripes but in double crochets. If I had only used 4 different colors, it would always be the same. The dark red will always be used in the pattern in the granny stripe and never in the double crochets. Do you know what I mean? But by using an odd number, it will change. I don't know how often it will change. So I think, let me see. I think after 2 repeats. I think after 2 repeats, that means 20 rows. Then it will start over again in the exact same way. Dark red and grannies and so on. Did you? I hope that made sense. My brain doesn't work so well today. I hope that made sense. So in that way, it's, yeah, two times the colors, 2 color repeats, so to say, and then it will start over again. And that makes the blanket a little bit more interesting. And Attic24, I don't know her name, I'm sorry, so I will call her Attic24. She designed it for, I think, 10 different colors or even more. She makes so beautiful blanket patterns, and she is always using Stylecraft Special DK, and I think this yarn comes in 90 different colors, shades of every color which exists, and she uses always very, very many different colors in one pattern. But I wanted to make a Christmas Afghan, also a dream I have very long. And so yes, I thought it's a very thick yarn and I will start it. Also, I have to say, now it's a kind of summer temperature today again, but the last days were feeling like autumn temperature wise. I was freezing, to be honest. At the weekend I was in Vienna and I only took dresses with me because in the summer I only wear dresses or skirts. and it was so cold. I think we had 11 degrees Celsius in the morning, and when I was going for a walk with Benny, it was raining. We had 11 or 12 degrees Celsius, and I had no jacket, no trousers. It was cold. And yeah, in the middle of the year, I always start to think about Christmas. I don't know why. Not so much about what I want to do or why I want to celebrate Christmas, but I think about the Christmas mood and being cozy and yeah, all that stuff. Lighting candles, cuddling up with a blanket, watching Christmas movies. I think about all these things because I have missed already. So in the middle of the summer, I already start to miss and long for long winter evenings. Yes, the summer is nice, but I so much prefer autumn and winter. So yeah, because the heat is very exhausting for me. Look at me, my pale skin, my blonde hair, my blue eyes. I don't belong to 35 degrees Celsius countries, you know? That's the reason why I think I have to move to Scandinavia one day. Yeah, that's a project which is so awesome, and it goes forward very quickly. I think I have cast on yesterday, and well, it's DK weight yarn, and it's very soft, and I although it's acrylic yarn, I really enjoy to work with it, and I can't wait to use this blanket one day. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, and I think yeah, there is one project I want to talk about. I have cast on the swatch, but I really only did the cast on, so I will show you, because the cast on is on my new needles. Yeah, not really worth talking about. But I have bought at my local yarn shop after, so I went to my local yarn, let's say to my favorite yarn shop, because it's not local to me. I went to my favorite yarn shop because the shop owner, she's so awesome, announced a shipment from Malabrigo, and I knew that I wanted to start this project you can see on the screen right now. I think it's called Timeless Henley. I don't know what Henley means, I have to look it up. By Howie Locatelli. It's a lace pullover, and I wanted to make it in the same color family, so a brownish color. And I really enjoyed working with Malabrigo, so I thought, okay, I will find some pretty colors. I was searching for fingering weight yarn, but she only had speckled yarn. I hope you don't hear that. A very old car with much too loud music, and it makes brrrr. Yes, she only had speckled yarn in the wrong colorway, so we thought about and calculated, and I will use Arroyo because it's not so much thicker than fingering weight yarn, and it's okay, it's not too fitted, and I will check it out with my gauge. So long story short, I have bought Malabrigo Arroyo in the colorway Choco, and it's so pretty. You can see it in the cake. Here are some hints of lilac, or no, I would say of plum. Wait, the English word for aubergine is a very funny word. I have forgotten, you read it on the screen. I would say that's the color. But the colorway name is 686 Choco. Yeah, and it's very soft. It's softer in the skein than the Sandbank. I don't know why, but I think it will be as soft as Sandbank. I have bought 5 skeins because I needed more yardage. because the pattern was written for a fingering weight with 360 meter on 100 gram, and this has 306 meter. But yeah, I think I will get this calculated with a gauge, and it won't be a problem, I think. And this is so soft, so I look forward to have 2 garments out of that awesome yarn. I really find this is awesome. Yeah, and it was so nice to visit the knitting afternoon. She offers this every week, but it's in the week, not on the weekends, and sometimes on the weekends, but yeah, mostly I'm in Vienna over the weekends, so it's not so easy. But in the summer, in the summer, I think I will visit her also on the Saturday knit nights or knit mornings. And it was very nice to do that again. The knitting retreat inspired me to be a little bit more social again, because I'm so not social. Maybe you wouldn't think that about me, because you always see me talking for hours and hours, and most people think I'm extroverted, but to be honest, I'm introverted, and I always have to explain what extroverted or being introverted means. It doesn't mean that if you are introverted, it doesn't mean that you are shy and have problems with talking to foreign people also. Could be that you have both the problem to talk to foreign people and you are introverted, but there is no connection between these two things. Being introverted means you get your energy, you recharge more if you are alone or in a smaller group of people, or at home mostly. And if you are an extroverted person, after a long and hard day at work, you need to go to a bar with your friends and drink something and laugh, or do karaoke or something to recharge your batteries. And then you get home and you say, oh, now I'm feeling better. So that is the real meaning of being extroverted or introverted. And I am introverted. So that means I'm not shy. I can talk to anybody, foreign or not. I can talk about everything with everyone, but it's exhausting for me. So I always have to encourage myself to do it, because at the end of the day, I always think it was an awesome day, and it was awesome to meet these ladies or guys. Mostly ladies come to these knitting meetups, and I don't regret it. And after the knitting retreat, which was exhausting for me because I'm an introvert, it was awesome. And after that retreat, I was so inspired to visit my favorite yarn shop again, and it was awesome. It was so nice. And because she is so awesome, here in Austria, if you sell some things which are very common in the US or in the UK, if you sell these in a yarn shop as an owner of a yarn shop, you are awesome. So the first awesome thing is that she sells Malabrigo. It's so hard to get them here. And she started to sell Chaugu needles. And I've bought my first fixed circular needle with a red cord. Someone asked me if it's the small, medium or mini, and I think it's called small, because this is a 3.5 millimeter needle and it's a fixed circular, and I think it's the normal cord, and I think the normal cord size has small, because the mini is for the very, very mini needles. Yeah, here are 3 dots next to the needle size. I don't know what that means. Maybe it says something about the cord. I bought the Chaugus because, not that I wasn't content with my Hayas anymore, but I had to do magic loop for the sleeves of my cardigan, and the join of the needle to the cord on the Haya needle wasn't smooth. So I always had to wiggle around with the stitches to get them on the needle to work again. Knitting in the round or flat, I haven't noticed any problems with the join, but for Magic Loop, yeah, I wasn't so content. But then I switched to these and the join is awesome, so for Magic Loop, very, very, very good. And the cord is awesome. I wouldn't need that cord, but it's a nice feature in addition for me to have it. It won't curl because in this red plastic cord is a metal cord, a spiral, so to say. I don't know if you can see this. So if I had another tripod now and a better equipment, I could show it in a much better way. Do you see the spiral? I don't know. You can trust me. So, and that's the reason why it doesn't curl. Never. So never. It will always stay in shape, and that's awesome. It gives you stability. I hope that was the right word. But well, I wouldn't need it. It's just a nice feature. I wouldn't buy new needles just because of the cord, but for Magic Loop, yeah, the join was awesome. And I wanted to try these. And the tips are just slightly less pointy. Not less pointy that I would say you can't knit lace with them, because they are especially very good for lace. But you won't hurt. After using the HiyaHiyas for a long time, and you always adjust your needle with your pointing finger, or index finger, I always poke a hole into my finger. Yeah, depends on the way you use your needles. If you use it for knitting in the round, you won't do that. But for Magic Loop, for the adjustment of the needles, you always, if you knit the way I do, I always adjust the needles like that. And with the HiyaHiyas, I always hurt myself. Not so badly, but yeah. But I didn't do this with the ChiaoGoose, and I knit 2 days only on the cardigan with these needles and no holes in my index finger. So awesome. Yeah, she has all the needles, the different cords, so the sizes of the cords, and interchangeable and sets and single needles, so you can buy all the interchangeables, only the sizes you need. And yeah, I told her that I won't buy a set, in interchangeable needle set, but now I'm not sure anymore because they are really awesome. And my Knit Pro Dreams are very pretty, and I like the wooden needles, but if I knit a pattern with many knit two togethers, I can't use them because they are not pointy at all. Yeah, well, maybe Santa brings a set of these needles. We will see. I don't know. These were my projects I have worked on, but now I want to give you a little shout out, because a friend of mine, an Instagram friend of mine, I would say, started to podcast, and I have watched her first episode, and I follow her on Instagram for a long time now, and she is also a pattern designer. I think she is pausing writing patterns at the moment. I think if I remember it correctly, but she has started her own podcast, and I really enjoy her and her personality, the way she presents her things and what she knits, and I think she's very funny, and you should check her out definitely if you are if you are looking for a new podcast. It's called Cozy Cute Knits Podcast. You can see the title on the screen, and definitely check her out. I really recommend to do that. Yeah, I think because I'm always talking about the same podcasts I watch regularly, but I always forget to talk about the new ones I have discovered, and she is the newest one I have discovered, so to say. And just because I have wrote with her many times over Instagram and I like her Instagram feed and so on, I thought, okay, now is the time to make this shout out. And yeah, so okay, that was everything for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you enjoyed it enough to support me, hop over to Patreon/Ananida. So patreon.com/Ananida, and you can support me. Even $1 is an awesome thing. Okay, I wish you a happy knitting, crocheting, sewing, crafting week. And I'm looking forward to read from you in the comments down below, on our Ravelry group, wherever. And I would say bye bye.